Now, the main event is a big one, right? I know sometimes, like the women's divisions, when you see flyweight main event, you're like, right, because it's the smallest division, 125 pounds. But this is Manel Kape. This is a very fiery guy, has a lot to say, energetic, all those type of things. He's 20-7 coming in from Portugal. And then Asu Almabayev 21-2 from Kazakhstan. I mean, this is, you know, Manel is the favorite, but I mean, Asu is 21-2. So this is a big prediction, one that can go either way, and we're 3-3 going in. Desperately need this one to come through. That's for sure. So let's jump into it right now. In the flyweight division at UFC Vegas 103, your main event. It's a tough one here. You got Manel Kape taking on Asu Almabayev. And I take Manel Kape almost against anybody, but this is a tough one. Kape 20-7 from Portugal, Almabayev 21-2 from Kazakhstan. Oh boy. Manel, 1 inch taller at 5'5". They're both 31. Manel has a 3-inch reach advantage. He fights left-handed. Asu Almabayev fights right-handed. Now on the feet, Manel dominates. 5.1 significant strikes per minute to 2.1 for Almabayev. So you already know what that means. Asu's trying to take the fight to the ground where he lands almost just shy of 2 takedowns per round. So if this thing did go 5 rounds, you're looking at like 7 or 8 takedowns. It's hard to believe against Manel Kape, who defends like 77% of the takedowns. He stops 3 out of 5. So he's going to bring that 7 takedowns that you would expect Asu to get throughout a 5-round fight. Not to say it's going to go that far, but he'll bring that down to 3 or 4, and then he's got to escape 1 or 2 of those and get back to defeat. That's the path to victory. Now he beat Bruno Silva by 3rd round KO, lost to Muhammad Makayev by decision. Before that, he beat Felipe dos Santos, decision. David Dvorak, decision, and he KO'd Zalgas Zamagulov. So, and against Muhammad Makayev in the loss, he gave up 3 takedowns. So that's the fear in this one. Almabayev, 50% takedown defense. That's not very good, but that'll be just fine for this fight. He beat Matthias Nikolov by decision, right? Held him to 16 significant strikes. Jose Johnson dominated him by decision, 6 takedowns to 1. Held Johnson to 5 significant strikes. CJ Vergara held him to 29 significant strikes while landing 9 takedowns and beat O'Day Osborne by submission on the 2nd takedown. So in 4 UFC fights, he's got 18 takedowns. So he's getting like 4 or 5 takedowns per fight. So that's going to be the problem for Manel. Very tough fight to predict, and I like Manel, but I got to go with Asu here. Asu Almabayev, that is, just because of the takedown game. I mean, Manel can defend him, and if he can keep the fight standing, he can win the fight. But I just think Asu is going to break through that. You know, the guy's 21-2. He's dominating people, and so far in the UFC, he's 4-0. So as much as I like Manel, we got to keep it real with the predictions. And in my opinion, Almabayev wins this thing on control time. And Manel won't be held to like 10 significant strikes. He's going to get like 40, 50, 60, but he's not going to have 100, 120 like he would if it went normally 5 rounds. So, and can Asu get the finish? It's very possible. We'll see. But either way, I'll take the Kazakhstan fighter to win this one and move to 22-2, in my opinion. Flyweight division, UFC Vegas 103. Oh man, I really thought that we had Manel Kape. You know, we do the main events several weeks, if not months ahead of time. You know, as soon as they're announced, we try to get the main events predicted is within several days. So, you know, it's been a couple weeks. Not really looking ahead to this one because it's at the Apex Center. You got UFC Seattle before it, and then the pay-per-view UFC 313, Pineda versus Ankalaev after it. So this is sandwiched in the middle, and I just haven't been paying attention. And this is going to be a rough one for me because I like Manel Kape. Like I want to watch the fight and hope he wins because he talks trash. When he wins, is exciting. He knows who he wants to fight next. You know, so it's going to be a good interview. But I got to root for Asu Almabayev, I guess, because that's who we predicted. And the funny thing is he's nearly a 2-1 underdog here. So we're taking a chance in a week that we really can't take a chance because we're 3-3 on the year. So still much better than last year, but you go back 2, 3, 4 years ago, we're jumping out to like 14-3, 16-2. I mean, just amazing starts to the season. And the last 2 years have been slow starts. And eventually we'll find our way. But that ought to tell you these main events are getting tougher and tougher to predict. I can tell through our predictions. I mean, we're still going to be over 100 wins and losses each year, you know, but there's 40 plus cards. The main event you could see is getting tougher and tougher uh, week by week. And that just shows me, it makes me feel like the UFC, the depth is just getting better and better and better. And these matchups, the matchmakers, we've been saying this for the last year or so, the matchmakers are just flowing right now. They're giving you some tough fights uh, to predict, and it's separating the UFC fans like 50-50 each and every week. So just makes it interesting, man. But yeah, that's what we got this week.